From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, April 30th. After a chilly start in the 40s, we'll warm up nicely. Highs in the mid-60s. It'll be a little breezy, but with plenty of sunshine. Saturday, picture perfect. Sunny with highs in the low to mid-70s. Sunday, we'll get into the upper 70s as rain chances move in before sunset on Sunday. And this morning, parents of thousands of IPS students are preparing for a big change. The school board approved a transportation policy that will force more students to walk to school. The district is moving 2,000 more students off of school buses and onto walk zones with crossing guards. This applies to students who live within about a mile of their school. 600 high school students will take an Indigo bus as long as their trip is less than an hour and has no transfers. The district says nearly 90% of these students would have a shorter route on Indigo than their current bus. IPS and Indigo created a partnership program starting in the 2018-19 school year. All high school students get an annual pass that connects to their student ID. It provides them access on the weekends and in the summer at no cost. The new transportation plan says yellow school buses will only serve students who live a certain distance away from school. Parent Dominique Jackson does not agree with the board's decision, especially with young students walking to school.
To keep the kids safe, I believe the schools need to everybody needs to get involved and keep, the buses running for the kids, for the safety of the kids.
A big reason for the change, the district says they currently spend double the amount per pupil in transportation costs than similarly situated urban school districts around the country. Transportation changes will start next school year. The plan will help IPS on its $18 million shortfall. And today, we'll get a new look at how the state is doing in its effort to get more people vaccinated against the coronavirus. Health leaders will speak at Indianapolis Motor Speedway later this morning. We're going to stream it at 11 o'clock. Today is Family Vaccination Day at the tracks. Why they're doing it there, the state says you can get either the Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer version. The Pfizer shots are the only ones approved so far for 16 and 17-year-olds. The clinic is open from 9 this morning until 7 tonight. You can just show up, but organizers do prefer that you make an appointment. Governor Holcomb has extended the state's public health emergency through Memorial Day. That was set to expire today. It extends the current modified county-by-county restrictions through May 31st. It also extends requirements for businesses to have plans to protect employees and customers. Local governments can still issue more restrictive rules like Marion County's mask mandate, but less restrictive limits are not allowed. Indiana's widespread mask mandate was lifted in March, but masks are still required at state government facilities, COVID testing or vaccination sites, and all K-12 schools. The state will continue to update the color-coded map weekly, shows the level of severity for community spread by county. This week, the largest outbreaks are in northern Indiana counties and in Jefferson County, which is across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. The declaration issued yesterday does show COVID-19 improvements since the start of the pandemic, but says the state had a 7-day average positivity rate of 4.5%. Continues to have new confirmed cases daily, along with hospitalizations and deaths from the virus. This is now the 13th extension of Indiana's public health emergency. The first was made in March of 2020. And this morning, the Tippecanoe County Health Department is sending condolences after announcing that a child younger than 5 died from COVID-19. Health officials sent News 8 a statement. It read in part, "This tragic occurrence reminds us that COVID-19 can cause serious, even fatal illness in children." And vaccines are key to returning normal. That was the resounding message at our Vaccine Central special last night on Wish TV from Marion County health officials. Public Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane said the department is working to increase education, provide multiple shot types, and reach people in hard-to-reach areas.
It's just an incredible opportunity where we're bringing the resources to where the people reside versus we sometimes require people to come to us, healthcare systems, in order to receive their services.
We also asked about mental health in the pandemic. Expert Kimball Richardson said he's seen a local increase in depression and suicide.
We have seen in the history of having a behavioral health service line at Community Health Network the most demand for our services ever since the late 60s, early 70s. So it's been intense. Thankfully, people are reaching out. We do appreciate that.
If you missed our Vaccine Central special, it's on our website in its entirety. All you got to do is head to wishtv.com and it's at the top of the homepage. Downtown Indy Inc. says new numbers show the city's economy is building back at a good pace, but they're still waiting for downtown workers to actually return to the office. It says $413 million were put into completed investments in 2020. That's a number to celebrate, it says, especially during the pandemic. It's crediting the NCAA tournament and other events for the boost.
It is incremental. It doesn't, nobody thought that it would all happen at once. But when I look at the sales volume for a number of the restaurants downtown, again, another good indicator. So, all of those small components add up to we're on our way back, but it's going to take time.
Downtown Indy Inc. is still pointing to a lack of workers actually spending their workday downtown. The group hopes more companies will bring more people back into the office by Labor Day. To the Colts now, we are hearing from the newest member of the team. The Colts picked Kwity Paye from Michigan with the 21st pick late last night in the first round. News 8's Charlie Clifford talked to Paye and discussed the choice with Chris Ballard.
There was no trading back, no trading out of the first round on Thursday night for Chris Ballard and the Colts. Instead, Michigan edge rusher Kwity Paye, the selection at number 21 overall. Paye's 4 seasons at Michigan. He was one of the finest to do it in the Big Ten off the edge, 11.5 sacks at 6'2", known for his speed. And looking at the Colts depth chart, this rookie knows he's showing up into a situation where he can play right away.
I had about 3 meetings with them, real good meetings, long meetings. So wasn't a surprise, I would say. Turn around and saw my family there. It was just kind of heartwarming, and that's when I kind of started to remember all the long nights and just all the hard work that I put in throughout the years. Big fan of DeForest Buckner, and just excited to go work with him.
It was easy. It was really easy. We had a trade offer. It wasn't enough, to pass the player we were going to take. What his backstory tells you is this kid is he's got some survival skills, and when it gets hard in this league, he's going to be able to handle it. He already plays the way we want to play. He's going to fit in pretty quickly. I know our defensive players were pretty excited. I heard from a few of them.
An exciting opportunity for Paye right away. And this story is just going to hit home for Colts fans. Paye's mother, the rock of this family, left war-torn Liberia, came to the United States, raised her family in Providence, Rhode Island, and now her son, just a couple weeks ahead of Mother's Day, an NFL first-round pick.
For my family, she's done working. She's retired.
At the Colts complex, Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
The first 3 picks were all quarterbacks, only the third time that's ever happened. Jacksonville picked first and took Clemson star Trevor Lawrence. Then the Jets selected BYU's Zach Wilson, and the 49ers grabbed North Dakota State's Trey Lance. 2 more teams took QBs later in the first round. Justin Fields from Ohio State goes to the Bears, and the Patriots selected Mac Jones out of Alabama. And even bigger quarterback news may still be coming. Several published reports say Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. He's the league's reigning most valuable player, but much of the draft day talk centered on potential trades for him. None happened on day one, and the Packers released a statement saying, "We are committed to Aaron in 2021 and beyond." Rodgers has won 3 MVP awards and led the Packers to 1 Super Bowl championship. President Biden and Vice President Harris are on the road today pitching the administration's economic plan to Americans in swing states. Biden is speaking in Philadelphia today, Harris in Ohio. The proposals include investments in education, childcare, infrastructure, green energy, and job creation.
No one should have to choose between a job and a paycheck or taking care of themselves, a loved one, a parent, or a spouse or a child.
The president is looking for bipartisan support, but Republican opinions are divided.
We can pass something that will actually withstand the test of time.
It's a liberal wish list of big government waste.
One of the sticking points is the price and where that money will come from. The American Families Plan would cost $1.8 trillion, and the American Jobs Plan costs more than $2 trillion. President Biden says the funding comes from increasing taxes on the wealthy and corporations. Rudy Giuliani is denying any wrongdoing after federal agents raided his home and office. Former President Trump's former lawyer spoke to Tucker Carlson last night on Fox News. Giuliani says the search was unnecessary because he offered to provide agents with his electronic devices. Giuliani said authorities won't explain to me what they're looking into. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office has been investigating Giuliani's activities involving Ukraine. We're hearing from former Vice President Mike Pence for the first time since he left office. He spoke during a gala in South Carolina Thursday, praising the Trump-Pence administration for 6 achievements. This is a quote from him: the lowest unemployment, the highest household incomes, the most energy production with the most pro-American trade deals, the most secure border, and the strongest military in the history of our country. He also pulled back the curtain on his future plans, saying he's ready to spend the next few months pushing back on the liberal agenda.
After 100 days of open borders, runaway spending, plans for higher taxes, a bigger welfare state, more government, defunding the police, abandoning the right to life, canceling our most cherished liberties, I've had enough.
Some have asked if Pence is considering a run for president in 2024. Pence made no comment. A long wait over a controversial bill is done. The state of Indiana will remove many protections on wetlands. Governor Holcomb signed the measure into law yesterday, more than 2 weeks after lawmakers passed it. Holcomb had given little indication of whether he would approve it, and environmental groups worked together to push for a veto. The bill eliminates many of the permits required to develop wetlands. It also ends legal action against landowners accused of violating the rules. New voting restrictions are waiting for the signature of Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis. Once that happens, Florida would become the latest state to tighten voting rules after massive turnout in 2020. The legislation would add new ID and signature requirements for voting by mail, limit who can return completed mail-in ballots, and require voters to request mail-in ballots every year. It would also limit drop box availability to only when early voting sites are open. On Wednesday, Senate Bill 90 passed through the Florida House along party lines before moving through the state Senate. At least 44 people are dead and 150 more are hurt after a stampede of sorts at a festival in Israel. It's an annual event honoring a second-century rabbi. Authorities say tens of thousands of people were there. Witnesses say the stampede happened when too many people tried to leave through a narrow passage and started falling on top of one another down some slippery stairs. The images coming out of there are just horrific. And heartbreak and grief in India's coronavirus crisis, the country is holding mass cremations. So many people are dying, crematoriums cannot keep up. One operator in New Delhi says his facility is handling more than 100 bodies a day, when a typical day in the past might see 10. One crematorium has rushed to build space for more funeral pyres in a parking lot. A spokesman for India's ruling party says the surge of positive cases hit the country like a tsunami.
All we know is that, yes, we are in power. We are responsible. This happened. Our focus is how can we save lives and how can we make sure our people are protected.
Overnight, the U.S. Embassy in India sent out several pictures of the first American shipments of supplies set to arrive.
Overnight, the U.S. Embassy in India sent out pictures of the first of several American shipments of supplies to arrive. And a coming-of-age milestone for patients at Riley Hospital for Children is back. Riley Prom is returning with a different look. This year's theme is Island Adventure, and it's all virtual this year. Patients will get a prom in the box with on-theme props like mini flamingo inflatables and activity books. Then this afternoon, they'll all tune into a telecast together.
Very happy and excited, and even though it was a big change from what we've done in years past, I think that it's still really exciting, and it's fun to be able to get together to bring them in.
There will still be dancing at Riley Prom. They say it'll be on the telecast. And it is Arbor Day. There are ways to pick up a free tree to celebrate it. AES Indiana is giving away free black gum trees starting at 11 this morning at Riverside Park. Fishers Parks is giving away tulip trees. It's Indiana's state tree. It's from 6 to 8 tonight at Roy G. Holland Memorial Park or tomorrow morning at opening day of the Fishers Farmers Market. Also today, a dinosaur drive-thru at the State Fairgrounds. It's a pandemic-adapted version of the Jurassic Quest show. It features dozens of large, very realistic dinosaurs and an audio tour. Tickets with fees are $54.50 for a car or truckload of up to 8 people and $85.50 for bigger vehicles. Hours differ by the day. Today it's 11 to 8. The show will be in town through Sunday, May 9th. And 5 people are under arrest in connection to the shooting of Lady Gaga's dog walker and the theft of the dogs. The Los Angeles police say the woman who returned the dogs days after the attack is one of the people now in custody. The crime happened in February. The dog walker, Ryan Fisher, survived. Detectives say the thieves didn't know that the animals belonged to a celebrity and took them because French bulldogs can sell for thousands of dollars. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is explaining how the grandstands will look for the Indy 500. We are now just 30 days away from the race. IMS President Doug Bowles shared some video on Twitter to explain how the pod seating will work. You can find that by following Doug on Twitter. There will be people in front and behind you in the stands, but at least 2 open seats beside you, separating you from the next group over. You'll also have to wear a mask when you aren't eating or drinking. And Bowles was actually part of our COVID news special last night and explained how the rule will be enforced if they have to do that.
We're going to have mask ambassadors out. They'll be asking people, reminding people to get their masks on. And I don't want to go here if I don't have to, but we have already talked through the ways that we would enforce that. And if we have to, we're prepared to remove people from the facility. But I'm really hoping that our race fans will help us out.
Again, IMS will be at 40% capacity, as we've talked about here on the podcast on race day, with 135,000 fans. Those who pre-purchase seats should be checking their mail. Bull says physical tickets will be sent out soon. Many events have turned to virtual ticketing, but he says having a printed ticket for fans is an important piece of the experience. A favorite has emerged for this weekend's Kentucky Derby. A gray colt named Essential Quality goes off at 2-1 odds. The horse is undefeated in 5 career races. 45,000 people will be allowed inside Churchill Downs. Last year, you may remember, there were no fans, and the traditional Triple Crown race order was all jumbled because of the pandemic. And now to business headlines. Chief Executive Magazine names Indiana the 5th best state to do business. When it comes to the 3 criteria, CEOs say that they value most in site selection, tax policy, regulatory climate, and talent availability. Texas topped the list. A new survey finds most U.S. companies will require proof of COVID vaccination from employees. The ASU Rockefeller Foundation survey says 65% plan to offer employees incentives to get vaccinated, and 63% will require proof of vaccination. 44% will require all employees to get vaccinated. Simplicity Esports and Gaming says it expects the industry to remain both online and in person for the foreseeable future. CEO Roman Franklin says they now have the largest footprint of brick-and-mortar esports gaming spaces. Franklin says they negotiated many leases, so they pay a percentage of revenue rather than a flat rate. The fast food chicken sandwich phenomenon lifted KFC. It is selling twice as fast as the brand's other sandwiches did at launch. And takeout and delivery and a chicken sandwich boosted McDonald's sales to pre-pandemic levels so far this year as well. Okay, let's talk about Yardbird. It's an outdoor furniture startup with an environmental conscience. The hand-woven wicker used in Yardbird furniture uses plastic collected from beaches in the Philippines. Yardbird's wicker contains 50% recycled plastic. It went as high as 64% in 2019 and is said to last longer. As an eco-friendly company, Yardbird also partners with Carbon Fund to offset 100% of its carbon footprint, and its packaging contains 50% recycled materials. It sold out of $1 million worth of inventory less than a month into its launch. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.